What is going on? I'm Cole, and welcome back to the show. I'm here with my co-host Blake, and we got a special guest, Taylor. Taylor, how's it going today?
I'm doing goddamn amazing, and I wore my shirt just to match the background of here, so I blend in.
Nice, proud of you,
Yeah,
Blake. How are you doing today?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm hot. It's hot in this garage.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that in the middle of the summer, as I'm just like, man, you know what? I don't get enough AC in this basement room, but at least all the walls are covered in cement, so it's slightly cold.
Yeah, my room's fucked.
But hey, you know
what you need is a sad, lonely bachelor pad, and then you're plenty of insulation, and you're great.
Yeah. I wish. My rent goes to a private student loan, so
like, fair enough. I mean, listen, I appreciate that.
I got that college though. All the training I needed to this new life of PR and comic book press. Well, I mean, I know how to write, so I use it a little bit, but yeah.
But did you learn that at college, or is that just something neat?
I could write a little bit, but I mean, I learned a lot about, I have a BA in creative writing, and then I dropped out of an MFA program in creative writing, but I mean, I learned a lot, but I'm definitely paying for it forever.
I mean, I went to art school, and now I do marketing for a drug company because I have no soul. So.
Hey,
yeah, you probably get some nice comic book money from that, though.
No, it doesn't, because it's Big Pharma is cheap as hell when it comes to actually this end of things. They just rip off patients and poor people, and that.
Yeah,
so they don't pay anybody.
The number one matter
make the money. Yeah. But we got some people in the chat today. So, hey, what is going on, Las Cruces? How is it going in New Mexico? We got Steve Hayner out here. He's wishing us a happy 7-Eleven. So I don't know if you know this. Somebody else randomly sent me a picture of a Slurpee, and I was like, what? Slurpees? And yeah, apparently it's a day today. I did not get one. Did either of you get a
No, I just saw that in the chat when we were in the green room. I was looking, and I was like, I didn't know you get a free Slurpee today.
So I don't live near 7-Eleven, so no.
So do you live near a Speedway?
Probably.
I'm loosely sure that Speedways are now 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
So I know that I once went and got my daughter. She wanted a slushie. So I took her to Speedway, and they had a Slurpee cup. And I was like, interesting. I did not know that they did Slurpees. So that's a thing. I could not think of a clever giveaway entry, so we're just going to do hashtag it's fine today. Taylor is our guest. So if you want to get in on that, we are going to be giving away the trade for this book. The book that we're talking about, I'm going to move us over here so I can do some branded stuff for a second here, is Minor Threats. There are a decent amount of trades that came out this week, which is kind of unlike normally what we have. Normally what happens is Blake and I are like, there's one trade. I guess we're going to read that. Hopefully it's good. There was some pretty decent stuff. I know Nemesis came out. Let's see. Dead Mall. I don't know what that is all about. And a black tape from AWA. Those were just some of the tabs that I still have up from last week. So, there were a decent amount of books, but let's give everyone's kind of gut reactions. What were your thoughts on Minor Threats before we kind of dig into it? Taylor, do you want to start?
I think it has some problems, but it was a fun book. That's like my shortest possible answer. Like it was. There were some things that drove me a little bit nuts when I was reading it, but overall, I was like, it's enjoyable.
I would say that I probably agree with that. And really, the problem is that I feel like we'll get to this probably in a few minutes, but there is a thing that's loosely the exact same as another thing that everyone complains about being in literally too much comics.
So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
What is that? I want to know what that is now.
Who is the number one most popular superhero in all of comics?
Oh yeah, the
fake
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, there was loosely a Batman and Robin. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, not so loosely.
We'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, it was Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
and it's also the same name as a new villain in DC now. So pretty much. So.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know.
Oh, there's an Insomniac in DC now.
I think it's called Insomnia, which is totally different.
Is this like a Rom V thing, or
no? It's in the new Night Sweats or Night Terror.
I'm so glad that Night Terror is happening right now, because I literally said I want 0 of these books.
You're not missing
also, I don't know. I noticed last night, this is completely unrelated, but we got to get off the path at some point. So
Yeah,
let's
might
move
as
there
well
now.
dive right off it now.
Last night, my daughter was like, "Hey, Dad, I want to read a Teen Titans issue before bed." So I've been reading her that on DCU. And I noticed that some Night Terror books were already on there, and I think the event started last week, right?
Oh wow! So there, yeah, it did. So they're
Wow.
just
So
they're not-
I'm guessing that they're gonna be dicks about it, and you're only gonna get the main storyline and not the other one. That's not really being that much of a dick. It's like, hey, we'll wetting your whistle if you're willing to maybe come in and buy some more books. But you know, they usually do that with these events where it's like, hey, here's a quick one early. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm,
or
I'm
they'll
cool.
give you, like,
I'm
that-
cool waiting a month.
yeah,
for
they'll give
them
you the
to
alpha
pop
and the
on show.
omega, and then like the other 40 you have to buy, whatever.
Well, and that's the thing that sucks about this one too, is it's just literally every single comic book.
Yeah,
And like, I know that, you know, there's a good amount of people that are like, if I'm getting DC, I'm getting only DC, and I'm reading a ton of DC. But I'm a person, and I think all of us are pretty much
We are
mostly
persons.
into.
We are persons too.
Yeah, we are all persons, and I think we're all kind of into indie more than superhero stuff. I could be wrong, Taylor. You kind of like Marvel stuff, I think sometimes, but maybe
I
just Daredevil.
if it's good, I'll read it or I'll try it, and if it's bad, I'll try it for an issue just so I have something to talk about for the week. But like, I've liked DC books better than Marvel lately, and like, it just annoys me that they're going to derail one of the couple that I like for 2 months just with some bullshit in the middle I don't care about. Oh wait, are we allowed to swear in here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can, dude.
Oh,
Dude,
thank
yeah.
fucking God! All right,
You've watched this show.
I don't pay much attention.
Yeah, I don't pay much attention.
I just enter the
We don't
hashtag
either.
Yeah.
I enter the hashtag and try and win some free shit. So,
We got Les Cruces. He's saying it's fine. We got
There you go.
Ignacio. What's going
What's
on,
up,
Ignacio?
Ignacio?
We also
up,
got
buddy?
Ronan the Accuser. So we got people from all over the place here. And yeah, so yeah, make sure you enter that hashtag if you're watching. And yeah, so Blake, what were your? I don't know that we even got your thoughts. It's getting weird.
Oh, which we got to real right after.
I actually dug it. It's once it started rolling, I think the premiere was a little rough. I think 2, 3, and 4 were better issues, a little higher pace. You know, like once the plot is laid out and we know what's going on, and like then there's a couple twists and turns that I thought worked well. But it felt like it was paying homage to like a comic like Watchmen, but like a lightweight version of Watchmen, not as heavy, more of a brisk read. Something like with a little bit more fun in it than Watchmen had. But I do think it was a cool commentary on the current state of superheroes. What's funny with all this talk of like derailing comics and how like everything becomes a slave to whatever next big event is happening, I was surprised not to get any commentary or like industry jokes about like crossover events or something, right? Like like that could have been like some funny banter between this ragtag group of villains, like, oh, I haven't seen you since like the summer event of 2012 or some shit. There was a lot of elements that this book and narrative both like critiques and celebrates about superheroes and villains, and very much how kind of the lines are blurred, like, right, when in the real world, if we had superpowers, like it would be like this, right? Like the lines between villains and heroes there would be a big gray area. And
it's like Watchmen by way of Garth Ennis, but like, yeah, it's a
a little bit of boys going on here, and the boys too went to town on Batman and Robin in a more gratuitous manner too. But yes, everybody, it's funny, like DC is all about Batman, and so many people are all about Batman. I fucking love Batman. I got Batman shit right behind me, right? And I adore it. But there is a lot of it, and there's some might say too much of it, right? and then to have like the blatant Batman and Robin, even some panels where they're like really dark and you just see the eyes, and it's very much Batman without the ears. But yeah, it's so that kind of surprised me. But yeah, a rocky start, strong finish. I was pleased with it. I wasn't mad to read it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I think the one thing also, because we got off the rails immediately. So this is from writer Patton Oswalt, which you might know him from the show MODOK. That's how they talk about it here in the solicit.
It's the only
Also,
thing he's ever done.
yeah.
Patton
Also,
Oswalt.
Jordan Balm, Scott Hepburn is the artist. Colorist is Ian Herring, and the cover artist of Scott Hepburn. Again, this is in the genre of superhero. If you couldn't tell by us talking about Batman, and yeah, so it says this comes from a crime drama about superheroes and villains and the last grasp of colorful, innocent days of Silver and Bronze Age before they were dragged in the grit-soaked modern era. Collects the 4-issue miniseries. This is stating that this book is 136 pages. It comes out tomorrow. The PDF copy that we had for review was 149 pages. And the only reason I know that exactly is because I looked at it, and Taylor and I were talking before Blake showed up. And I was saying that last week we read All Against All, which was 5 issues. I felt like that seemed like it was longer, and it was 152 pages, I want to say. And this was 4. This was 1 less issue, and it was only 3 less pages. There wasn't a ton of back matter. I think there was like 5 covers.
There's 13 pages of back matter. I just scrolled through.
Oh, cool. Yeah, 13 pages. So I mean, like,
yeah,
I feel like these were definitely longer issues. The first issue, as you kind of mentioned, drug on. Like, it just seemed a little bit longer. This is a book I'm very glad that I don't think I bought the single issues for.
Hang on, I have a timely interruption for this real quick. Los Crucius, you're in multiple chats, you cheating bastard, and congrats on winning in Legion of Comics chats now.
You're in the chat that I'm also in right now, trying to win prizes while I'm actively on something. But
I didn't enter this one, though, because I already read it. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to, you can. You don't have to. I mean, if you were doing your trade reviews, you could just read about this like a month later and then just give it away. But
I just need to get on the review list that you all are on so I can get some of these shit with.
Yeah, I mean, just talk to us, man. We can make it happen. So I'm gonna just show off some of the art here. Some of it's gonna kind of ruin, as we kind of mentioned. This is, I would say, this is a group of ragtag bad guys that are
they all just drink at a shitty little bad guy bar.
And what happens is, you can see this big dude shows up. He's like, I'm Killer Croc, and this is my friend that's hurt. And then they end up figuring out that the Insomniac, who is Batman, essentially, Detective Kid Dusk, is murdered. Who, if you know what Kid Dusk is pretty much Robin.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this story is, right? It's a group of people trying to figure out what's going on with this and getting to some might call him a Joker-esque character of the Insomniac. I think, he's not the
Stickman?
The Stickman, yeah. Which I would say, right? Is that what we're thinking he is? Probably.
I think that's what he was supposed to be, but he did not, unlike some of the other characters, he did not resemble the archetype that he was kind of built around, right? The only thing I kind of grabbed was the hammer, and then thinking about like the crowbar, like in Death in the Family.
That kind of went completely over my head. I'm gonna
and like physically, he kind of looked like maybe a little bit like, because I don't know if he was wearing a mask or what, maybe Two-Face in there as well. I don't know. He looked like a combination of a few bad villains.
There was a point in time in some of the later panels where there was like a full page spread of just him. And you saw his like head with his he's got kind of like this weird, like, it looks like his brain is exposed, maybe something like that.
Maybe that's what it went at. Maybe it went after like New 52 Joker, where he's got his face stapled on.
I was almost thinking that in those close-ups, he kind of almost resembled like Darkseid in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird. Like, I mean, like, this is a character that is definitely not as overpowered as that character. But I just want to say hi to a few more people in the chat. We got Red03. What's going on? Everyone else new here, make sure you put in that "it's fine" hashtag. We got 3 Good Nerds. How's it going?
What up?
We got E-Man. How's it going? Hopefully you're having an awesome day. And we got DAGR Cards. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, maybe they were just real worried about getting sued.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the kind of thing with books like that. Like, I don't know. Like, there is panels, and I want to say, too, I don't know what Batman suit it is. Part of me thinks it's like the Gaslight by Gotham, but I don't think it's that one. That it kind of looks like that suit, or with like a mix of like the new, or what's the Flashpoint Batman suit?
Oh, the Earth 2 Batman, the Thomas Wayne.
Yeah,
with the red, because of the red insignia. Maybe. Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, it's like, you know, it's supposed to rip off these characters, right? Like that's the point. But yeah, it's funny what you can get away with. and you know, because like I said, there's a couple panels, especially with like Insomniac's Cal and the white eyes and the gray suit and with the arms and the gloves and stuff. There's like a couple moments where you're like, that's fucking Batman, like just blatantly. But yeah, it's interesting, this group of villains that isn't really, they're villains, but they're not, you know, they all like their ulterior motives are like kind of justified, right? Like, you know, Playtime's trying to get her daughter back. You know, like there's so many names here. I got them all written down on the side here. What is it? Snake Stalker is you know, his lover is Insomniac kills his lover, right? And that's kind of what propels him to do
that's
this.
the big green dude.
Yeah.
That I called Killer Croc. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not remember his name. Then there's like, what is it? The Pigeon Master or whatever.
Pigeon Pete, which is funny because Pigeon Pete is a mutanimal in IDW's Ninja Turtles. Like, Pigeon Pete's been a character for a long time. So I was like, that's kind of weird to just take that name. Like, it could have been Pigeon Paul.
Yeah. Or even just like, I mean, I guess pigeons are your only like city bird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we did say villains. And speaking of villains, the C-List Villain podcast will be online tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is the one dude? What's the brain? What's his name?
Brain Tease.
Brain Tease. I almost called him Brain Cancer, but that's
I've called him Brain Freeze like numerous times.
I don't remember any. Like, I'm glad somebody wrote it down because I don't remember any of them like at all. None of the names were memorable to me. Even like, what's the main character's name? What's her
Playtime?
Name?
Frankie. Playtime. Frankie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Playtime I think was the one that I kind of knew, and I remembered that there was a pigeon-based one. One was brain-based, and that's it.
And then there's Scalpel.
Scalpel. Yeah. Scalpel also is kind of a familiar name because it's a doctor.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't have like Scalpel working for Stick Figure at first or whatever.
Stickman, yeah.
And be like Punchline. But I mean, it's still pretty, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Did Punchline ever leave? I guess maybe it's closer to like wow. Now that you say that, I did not get that reference or that they look alike or that they could be similar, but she does have a very Punchline-esque vibe to her.
Yeah. I've actually never read anything with Punchline in it.
You're not missing much.
I got mad because like I love Harley, and it seemed like when they first brought her in, it was just like to replace and kill off Harley for a short time, and I was like, well, that's stupid because you can't kill off Harley Quinn. I mean, you can, but you would have to bring her back like instantaneously because that's a huge DC property, and you're just hemorrhaging money if you remove that series from your lineup for a new fucking. I don't care how much you love James Tynion, like you can't do that.
There was, I mean,
I think she's an awful character. So yeah,
of all the characters that James Tynion created, the best one was one that turned out to not even be a new character.
Who's that?
The Broker.
Oh yeah, all right.
The Broker was like the most compelling character, and then it turned out to be, spoiler alert, the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And the best part about it is that James Tynion's idea was to have it be Batman, and DC was like, no, we don't like that. So granted, the character was never a character at all.
Jesus.
It was just this like guy that had a cool look. I mean, that's the thing. I think it was, can you do the opposite of what Tom King does? Sure. I'll just introduce new characters and make sure that no one cares about anything.
I mean, to be fair, that's what Batman's been doing forever. But,
yeah. I mean, there's. I mean, Kite Man's pretty cool. Well, how old is Kite Man? Is he?
Kite Man's way old.
Okay.
The first appearance of Kite Man's a Silver Age comic.
Oh wow.
But like, I mean, all the new writers ignore everything that came before. Like, I think the Court of Owls is cool.
Yeah.
I don't really do anything with him after Snyder, and then like,
then James Tynion brought back.
Yeah,
that Talon series was fucking dope though. Like,
James Tynion did Talon comes back in.
I stopped. Okay, admittedly, I now read the early Tynion part of Batman run because I didn't care.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't like anything about James Tynion's Batman. It was fine. It was like, which is weird because I loved his detective. His detective run is, I think, one of the best detective runs. But I mean, that's the thing. People didn't like for saying like I mean, I feel like because Grant Morrison was like a little bit before Scott Snyder took over. And that was I have not read it personally, which I probably should,
You
because
should.
they're one of my favorite comic book
It's
writers.
phenomenal.
But I just need to so I've just been slowly chugging away at Batman, like, and I'm at like issue like 550. So it's like I'm getting there.
Oh, you're halfway there.
You're like reading all Batman?
I started like 2 years ago, Steve Hayner, who was in the chat, and I read Batman Year One. I read it on the DCU app, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just keep going? And then Nightfall happened, and it just fucking ruined it. Because, like, I feel bad. I'm glad that both Bearded Comic Bro and Todd are not here, but they're like, that's the best Batman arc.
It's good. I don't understand people. People that talk shit on that in No Man's Land, I don't understand.
But that's the thing. Like, you're probably read that like as a kid.
Yeah, right? But then I reread it. Like,
but
when
that's
I
the thing.
Started collecting books, I bought those huge, those like Nightfall omnibuses, but they're soft cover, and like those 3 volumes, and like even on the reread, I thought it was strong.
But you probably loved it.
What did you think about Death of Superman? Because that's also hot fucking garbage.
Death of Superman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let me tell you a little story. So I'm in 2nd grade. My dad is the janitor at my private school, because people that don't know, my dad made a promise to my mom when they got married that whatever, my mom's family is real religious, and so what his deal that he told my grandmother was like, however many kids we have, I'll do whatever I got to do to put the kids in Catholic school. So my dad was the janitor at the school. They treated him like dog shit, but he got a big break on our tuition from working there. And so we're out at recess. I'm in 2nd grade. My dad comes out, and he comes walking up to me, and he's got this bag in his hand, and he comes up, and he was like, hey, I went to the comic book shop. They said this was the big book out right now. And he handed me the Death of Superman trade. And I was like a god amongst little dipshits that day. Like, everybody like came around, like, cause we all, we got our comic books usually from, like, oddly enough, 7-Eleven, usually. And it was like, you used to be able to get in the 90s, comics at gas stations and supermarkets and stuff. But, very rarely did you get, you'd get like issue 12 and then issue 15. And so it was, like, it was kind of a mix and match. And so I didn't know about comic book shops really until later, when my dad showed me that. Anyway, my dad gives me a Death of Superman trade, and I'm like, what? Superman dies? Superman can die? How? Like, and so basically, like, we sat there at school, and like, during recess and during lunch, and then like after school, and like people are sitting around me, and we're all reading this together, and like I would go to like turn a page, and they'd be like, wait. Okay, turn the page. And so we're like all reading it together, and it was like this really, really cool comic book experience for me. But yeah, I love it. And I reread it a couple years ago, and like I still remember like the die cut Reign of Superman covers that came out when I had those, and the new fake super people. Well, some of them were fake, one of them was real, we find out later. And then like, all that paid off. But yeah, when I reread Death of Superman, Reign of Superman, and Reign of Superman and Funeral for a Friend a couple years ago, like, dude, I again, like, I fell in love with it all over again. And then even though I have all those trades, I purchased the Death of Superman omnibus to go with my John Byrne hardcovers, Man of Steel hardcovers, and the other Superman omnibus that's out around that time. And then, so I basically have this like huge 90s set of like Supermans. But yeah, anyways, yeah. Maybe I just like dog shit things. People have accused me of this before. Like, they were like, one of my buddies who's not into comics at all, like, asked me he was like, how do you review shit? You like everything. And I was like, no, I don't usually talk about stuff I don't like, because I don't like being negative, right? But I don't. But I do like a lot of movies that people hate, like, I find enjoyment in, and I'm not as hypercritical of some things as some people. So yeah, maybe I just have bad taste, but I did love Death.
Yeah, I got beat up on the playground, and I didn't have any comic books, so I to bring along and show. So that's why I hate.
Steve Orlando told me that too. Steve Orlando was, when I told this story on air one time, Steve was like, wait a second, like, your school, they thought comic books were cool and you weren't getting made
Yeah.
fun of for that? I was like, yeah, man, like I had a like that's why I'm so soft and squishy now. I had a fairly like non-problematic childhood. I guess I got lucky.
And we got some new people too. I got to say hi to. What's up, Joffrey? How's it
What's
going? We
up?
got
What's up,
Kenneth
Joffrey?
Bird. I
Kenneth,
hope you are
what's up,
having a
man?
wonderful night tonight. And we got Shop for Comic Shop.
What's up?
Hopefully, you are also having a great night. I'm just going to show the sticker because you created the artwork. And then, yeah, it's funny too. Now you own another trade of that because you have DCUI and they sent it to you for the anniversary special.
Oh yeah, I forget. Yeah, so I have that soft cover, which I appreciate the free book, but like, fuck you, a deluxe edition is a hardcover.
All right,
There are no deluxe editions that are soft cover. It makes no sense. But the only cool thing about that is that it has that weird recap miniseries of the Death of Superman in it. I can't remember what it's called, but that's not in the Death of Superman omnibus. That's not in any of the Death of Superman trades. So it is kind of cool to have that, just to have that in print. But yeah, I was so disappointed when I opened that and it was a hardcover or it was a soft cover. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
yeah, I'm not sure if you heard about this, Taylor, but if you got the DCUI, you paid for a year of it because of the 25th anniversary or whatever the hell happened. They sent everyone a free copy, and a bunch of people like Blake were complaining because it wasn't hardcover, even though they paid for a digital comic service.
Yeah.
And they sent you a free book out of the bottom of their heart to bring promotion.
I heard about it. That's why I didn't sign up. I'm like, I don't want that fucking garbage.
Yeah, you're like, I'll sign up when they're no longer offering.
I think they're going to do it every year though. Like I think
Yeah.
every year you continue your membership, they'll give you a super premium deluxe trade fucking paperback.
It'll probably be Nightfall this year, and I'm not interested. So like,
Nightfall, yeah. Or like, I'm trying to think of what's like, I don't even know what like awful stories are. I mean, probably just most of the 90s.
I didn't know DC made bad comics. This is just news.
What's the one where Green Lantern goes bad? It'll probably be that.
That's amazing. Oh my god, what is wrong with you people?
I mean,
Parallax
I don't really.
is the shit.
I've never read that one. I've honestly never read that one. I just figured
I
figured it might be triggering.
That's Ron Mars and Daryl Banks.
Yeah, I've never read it. That one I legitimately I've not read.
I gotta go. It's
Also,
hot. I'm sweat. You guys are making me sweat out of anger. I told Cole having guests was bad ideas. No, I never said that.
Yeah, it's
Cole did. Cole did. Cole was very much against, like, or not against, but he was like, maybe we should have people on, but never a creator. Cole's like, I never want to fucking talk to a comic book pro once in my life, unless it's Matt Kent.
I don't
like,
make shit.
Yeah, if it's Matt Kent.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Lemire, you're fine. I'll talk to you,
all right,
Jeff Lemire.
So Matt, Jeff, if you're watching the show,
yeah, John Lees,
on,
you can come on. I'm just opening to my favorites.
Creators are open on my show.
Yeah,
but only if you don't suck.
Yeah.
So how many creators have you had? Never mind.
I've had one.
I've had about 300. And no one fucking watches my channel. So like,
yeah, nobody watches.
Thanks everybody. No, I'm actually coming up on 400 subs. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
Took a long time. Like, but
I mean, I don't think Taylor's the person you want to talk about.
No, I
taking
just
a long time to grow.
4 years, so whatever. Yes, there will be a giveaway at some point. You fucking goblin.
I mean, to be fair, I said that I was going to do 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and that was almost half a year ago.
I said I was going to give away an omnibus when I hit 5,000 Twitter followers, and I definitely didn't. No, I said I'm thinking. I said might fuck around and give away an omnibus when I hit.
Give away that deluxe Death of Superman.
Yeah, it's a deluxe book. Also, we got Callie and Jordan Squad. What's going on,
guys?
David? Hopefully, you're having a great
Crudo's
day.
in the
What's
house.
up, Manny, aka Al Crudo? Also a comic book creator. Also, if we ever read a book that has like orangutans in it, I feel like Manny can come on. The only requirement is that Manny has to drink the amount of beers that was in his contract when he came on Comic Burrito to do this show with us. I think it was a 24 pack. I don't think he drank a 24 pack, but me and Nick probably at least split a 24 pack that night.
Nice. I'm drinking I'm drinking the Lagavulin 16, the fancy shit that Gary Proudly sent me.
I have Heaven Hills Bottle and Bond, which most people, I feel like when you're like Heaven Hills, they're like, don't they make cheap vodka? And I'm like, yes, but they also make good bourbon.
Interesting. Cheap vodka, good
I've got
bourbon.
nothing because I got to work too early tomorrow and I'm weak, so I suck.
It's okay. I'm still proud of you.
I got shit I got to do tomorrow too, but
I do
I'm
too,
still
but
probably gonna play Diablo all night, and then I have to get up and do charity posts for the social media deal, and then I got to talk to Annie Nascenti at like 2:00 my time. We're doing an early stream tomorrow to fit her in, and I totally did not read enough of her Daredevil run to prep, but I tried. But we're talking about Storm and Captain Marvel, her new books, so I should be safe. Sorry, Annie, if you see this, I'm a failure. It's your fault. You said yes. Actually, she said yes, but when I sent her the link today, I always get nervous when I send the creators like a link and they don't reply, because I'm like, I really hope you got it. And then like I sit there in like the green room and it's like 2 minutes before show, and I'm like, I hope someone shows up.
And now Blake knows how I feel before every episode of this show. And we're on the 20th episode of this show.
Wait, there's been 20 of these books I didn't win? Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, technically, this is one of the 20. If you want, you can still get in on this.
We rig all our giveaways.
I don't need to own this one. There's enough issue. Like, just the fact that like they're worried of going back in time is like, we're gonna have a yellow old paper border, and that's the only real clue. Anyways, there's issues to this book, but it's enjoyable, but I don't need to read it ever again.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Excluding I would say if anyone's like, hey, what is the best comic that you've ever read? One of the books that always comes to my mind is the book My Favorite Thing is Monsters. I'm not sure, or My Favorite Thing is Monster. And I'm not sure if either of you read that, but it's this giant Fantagraphic book. It's this fucking thick. It was like the lady's first fucking book she ever made. She ended up getting like some weird disease and she had to draw left-handed halfway through it. And it's fucking great, but they never finished it, which one kind of pisses me off. But we're like way beyond it. But like also I read that book. It's a fucking like 600-page Fantagraphic book.
Yeah, it's a girthy boy.
Like I've seen it. I just haven't read it. Yeah.
I have no reason to reread that book, but it's great. And like, but that's the thing. There's so many comics out there that are still good. I'm trying to think like a book that I know I'll reread a lot is The Righteous Thirst for Vengeance from Rick Remender. Only because I know that I can read all like
that thing flies.
Issues of that in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Because I'll definitely reread that when I get the deluxe
issue. Yeah. And but like that being said, it's still an amazing book. Like one of my favorite books of 2022, and it's like, but that's like one of those books where I can just know it. Like even Mind Management is one of my favorite. It's kind of like such a like dense book that it's almost like I've gone back and reread it and it just takes a lot longer when it's like those 36 issues of comics I probably could have read.
Well, then you gotta
75 other issues.
Like
yeah,
reading the page borders
at that point now.
Really, but I initially skipped it too, but then someone told me like, "Oh, you're fucking up, Blake. Like you got to read."
That was probably me. But you got to read it on the first time.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same way when you're reading, like you brought up Watchmen, right? The second time through Watchmen, there's no fucking reason to read the prose stuff
at the end. Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, and that's
the pirate ship shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I know that, Nick and Ignacio did a show on that and people got mad at me because I said, can a comic book actually be that great if people are wanting to skip parts of the book on a reread? And I get it, but like if that's part of the book and you don't want to read that on your reread, is that book really that good? And I mean, it is a great book, but like if you're legitimately thinking about skipping parts, can it be that good?
I don't know. Sex is awesome. A lot of people like to skip foreplay.
But that's different. You don't have to do that to do that. This is part of that. I mean, I guess maybe. I don't know.
Depends. I mean, ask your partner.
Well, sorry.
Let's open this up to the chat. No.
Hopefully my wife isn't currently watching.
Yeah, Cole's like, who needs foreplay? Cole's wife.
If your version of foreplay is the prose in Watchmen,
yeah, then maybe you need to relearn. Like
slow and meticulous, baby.
I mean, it's good and it builds.
Either you're gonna get through it or you're going to sleep. Either way, it's a win.
Yeah, right.
but like yeah, like if Watchmen came out today, that would be like there'd be it'd be a 12 issue mini, and there would be a Watchmen case files,
Yeah.
and you would get this, and it's just
And it's
I
like
wrote
a
this
lot more
stuff.
people are hypercritical of like over textified, overly textual. Like, I mean, look, Bendis, I love Brian Michael Bendis. He gets dragged through the fucking ringer for being so verbose, right? And it's so funny too, because I mean, I read more comics because that's literally like my new day job and stuff now too, right? Like I'm like always reading client shit, new.
Are you hired? 'Cause I got nothing else going on in my life at all. Ever.
No, I'm not. No.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Anyway, go on.
Cole's the only one who's living like a happy life over here. Like I live in a fucking sweltering garage that's covered in wasps and spiders. And,
Yeah, but you got Batman to cuddle you to sleep at night. behind
yeah,
you.
yeah, well, yeah, and I got an asshole. I have an asshole puppy who's, I mean, he's not an asshole. He's awesome, but he's a prick. But he's like,
Kind of sucks, but most of the time he's all right.
Yeah.
he's a cool. He's calm. He's calmed down a lot since we brought him home from the shelter. But he's a lot. But yeah, no, I'm single, and I quit my day job and started doing like PR stuff, and
Nice.
right now that's paying the bills, and I love doing it. So now I have like this continuous fear that like I'm gonna lose clients and have to go crawling back to some fucking day job again, right? Like but yeah, anyways,
Well, if you need to take clinical drug trials in Wisconsin, you let me know because that'll supplement your income nicely.
nice.
As my
nice.
soul shrinks even further. Anyway,
I can't. I'm really interested to see what people think of this new episode, because they're like, all right, they talked about the book for 5 minutes, and then they talked about like all these iconic DC moments that they just like absolutely took shits on, except Blake, who I guess likes everything, and we can't trust a goddamn thing. He says.
I mean,
I think Death
I've
of
watched this show
Superman-
before. You guys spent like 45 minutes talking about ravioli and hot dogs. I mean, this is not like this is at least sort of comic related.
Yeah. and to be fair, like I don't think that I was trying to shit on Watchmen. I was just saying,
no, it's
like,
it's actually a very
it's a
fair
valid point. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I mean Watchmen's a
is.
great book, and I think it's a book that everyone needs to read. The only thing that I would say is like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, what's the first comic book you should read? And people say Watchmen. And
No.
I say,
Hell no,
Watchmen
that's not
is
the
fucking not.
You should be
Like-
very familiar with the medium.
Yeah, like
and
you do not.
and superheroes and indie comics and a lot of different elements of comic booking before you dive into that, right? Like it's like, you know, we talked about like the sex and foreplay thing, right? It's like you go right from like back rubs to choking. It's like that makes no fucking sense, right? You got to learn. You got to baby step your way into the rougher stuff. You can't just
Into being
dive
into
right
the
in. Anyway, sorry.
It's okay for now. I mean,
No, it's-
Superman once got choked in a book called Death of Superman, and then he died. So
He
who
didn't get
knows?
choked. You just got the absolute
He chokes
choke beat out
him.
of him.
There's a cover where he's choking him.
Oh, that's
I
not how he
think.
dies, though. He dies like with his nipple
Whatever.
hanging out, and it's still so weird because like you couldn't have his blood be red, so like it looks like he's got this like black resin tar dripping from like every pore of his body, and like Lois is holding him like no, and it's just like really like he eats all this stuff, and you just couldn't put red blood on him. It's kind of interesting.
Also, have any of you watched the motion comic
Yes.
Watchmen? I used to have this flip phone. It was like Verizon's version. It wasn't a flip phone, but it was like a flip texter phone. It was like the Verizon version of the Sidekick, but like a Sidekick's like this big, and my phone was like that big. And for some reason, it had those movies on it. So I would just remember randomly being stranded at somebody's house, and they were like sleeping, and I didn't want to wake them up, so I just watched those and like sat on their couch for an hour or two.
nice.
There's like that 4.5 hour Watchmen super director's cut. That's like
yeah, that's
the
how I
unedited-
watched Watchmen for the first time.
Yeah, it's actually quite pleasant. But yeah, it's because you know, say what you want about Zack Snyder, and I know he's problematic and he's full of himself, and his fans are the absolute maybe a joy to comic books, or maybe not, depending on who's in the comic. I don't know what our viewers think about that, but they can be a lot. And,
You could call them the worst. I mean, I think anyone that's in this show or in this chat is not like a Zack Snyder super fan. They might really like his movies, but I think that they would agree that his fans are probably
yeah, but he can't make a movie less than 3. Like when his movies are, when they try to condense them for theatrical releases, and he's like, no, this movie's 3.5 hours long, and they're like, listen, dude, it's not fucking Lord of the Rings. They got away with it. No one else can anymore. And you know, like but when when they elongate his movies into the actual watch time he planned for, they're very different animals to wrestle with. Like Batman Superman, the theatrical version had so many problems. But like when you watch the 3-hour version, and it's like Wonder Woman doesn't just like pop up out of nowhere, and it's like she kind of has like a plot line and an arc, and like all these different elements come together to make a way better movie. Watchmen is the same. So like the director's cut of Watchmen is a way better experience, and then when you do the super director's cut, it does the Watchmen, and then it puts the
pirate
Captain
cartoon.
Boat Time episode, whatever the fuck it's called.
Captain Boat Time.
It like sprinkles those in that motion comic into the director's cut, and it is a pretty cool experience.
I've seen the extended cut. I've not seen the super extended because I don't give a shit. But I think like the Watchmen, like he hits all the notes in it, but it just doesn't have any of the soul that was in the comic or any of the, it just doesn't. It's like all this stuff is competent at all the same level of like. Either when everything's the same level of excitement, there's no excitement for me. It's just kind of like, okay, well,
yeah,
and that's kind of that's why Scott Snyder criticism. Also, Scott Snyder sucks. Hashtag Scott Snyder. What's his name?
Zach.
Scott
Snyder wrote Batman.
Zach Scott. Anyone with the last name Snyder.
Every fucking Snyder's the same,
including that jackass that invented those pretzels, those Snyder pretzels. He fucking sucks too. So.
Yeah, I like what three good nerds said. They read the book and may talk about it.
Yeah,
we get there. We get there.
Yeah, I mean, so
did either of you two, speaking of the book, did you have an issue or problem with like the yellow border flashback?
Yeah, it was weird. There was a lot. There was a lot of flashbacking.
I want to know too, and this is something I think we kind of have touched on a little bit in this show before. Part of me wonders, it got weird. It was hardish to notice because we were reading like a low res digital, where I wonder if on the pages that jumped more and maybe makes it a little bit better.
I thought it looked really good on my 12.4 inch tablet with the ammo LED screen. The colors did pop. But no, I almost wish they did. They had a different artist. I almost wish they had a different artist for the flashbacks to even make a more like stronger juxtaposition. But there were so many flashbacks that would have really taken away.
I think they should have had a different like coloring approach and like used like some pretty blatant like halftones or something to color it for the
like some dot matrix style shit, right? Yeah, that would have been dope.
And so I guess to get on these flashbacks, a lot of these flashbacks were giving us background to some of the characters that we knew nothing about. And one of the ones that specifically like stands out to me was the one for Scalpel, because I remember she's telling a story about her dad, and I honestly thought that it was Playtime talking about her dad.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting to the second part of the flashback, and she's like, and then when I got clients, and I had to like scroll back, and I was like, oh, was that her and not Playtime? And then I got kind of confused about that. So it like almost is like I would say, I mean, overall, I think that this book was written pretty good. I mean, and this is Patton Oswalt. Well, it's his first creator-owned book. I think he's written some stuff at Marvel before.
Yeah, he did MODOK Head Games.
Yeah, I don't think that this book was like, there was really not anything bad about this book. There are certain people that have been writing comics for 15, 20 years that have just as many problems, I think, with flashbacks. It's just flashbacks sometimes can be hard. And I don't know if that was just an art thing too, because I remember, she had like curly hair as a kid, and that's kind of what Playtime's hair looks like. So you just kind of reference that. So maybe there was some like mismanagement from like artist and creator or whatever. And I guess too, when you're reading a book like that, there's probably certain things where you just assume creative like changes and it, so maybe you don't catch it. But that one was the most jarring and like hard for me to follow.
There were a few where I had to go back and I'm like, what in the absolute hell is going on here? And then I never did figure out some of it. I was like, whatever. I stopped caring. I just plowed forward. and
I think we didn't even really touch on too much that this is loosely almost like the ragtag group of like the Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah, it's like shitty villains trying to save their asses against heroes and other villains.
The premise, though, I did really like the premise of like this ragtag group of villains who come together to like go up against the Justice League because the Justice League is out of their goddamn minds.
No,
And they
Batman is out of their
the,
mind.
Well, no, but
And
the
the
rest
Justice
of them are,
League are trying to make sure that Batman doesn't do it worse than what he
that
yeah,
wasn't
but they
super
kind of
clear
turn
for a
this
bit
neighborhood
either,
into a
so.
police state. Like
Yeah.
they like put they like put martial law down kind of. And so they're all to cover up this PR mess of Batman or the Insomniac going on a murdersome rampage. They turn into not very heroic people, whereas the villains actually seem to have a better moral clause, propelling them into
That's
the
a commentary
plot.
on society in general and anti-capitalism and pro-socialism and never mind.
And I'm going to say something that might be kind of a hot take, and some people might really hard disagree with me on this. But one of the things that I was going to say is that this kind of like in that talk almost reminds me of like Negan. Negan is very problematic, and Negan did a lot of terrible stuff in The Walking Dead. But the thing that Negan like always quotes is that he never wants to kill people unless he has to, and he always wants to kill zombies. Whereas like Rick, it seems like Negan even says something to Rick at one point, like, I feel like you kill more people than you kill zombies. And like, what are we trying to do here? Maybe Negan runs a weird world where he has like, people marry him that maybe don't want to, but like, he's definitely problematic. But at the end of the day, Negan wants to keep people safe for the most part. And I think that like, because of what he does, that's bad to make that happen and create an order in a different way. It's just weird because most people are like, he's automatically a villain and Rick's this good guy, where it's like Rick's just going and killing people and Negan's people did nothing to them. They just were looked at as they've done bad things.
Yeah. I think Glenn might disagree with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Since we are talking about the book, I've got like 10 minutes and I got to go. So I want to touch on the ending without spoiling it.
Yep.
They foreshadowed it in the beginning, and it has.
Oh yeah.
And it has payoff at the end. But the visual, and I think that's part of my thing with this book, is the artist, I think overall is pretty competent, but like that payoff didn't work for me visually as far as the setup to how it was all handled.
That big splash at the end?
The big splash was fine, but like the couple panels leading up to it, where I was like, oh, that's that. And I didn't realize till later that I'm like, oh, that's what that was. And that's that's where it came from. And it still, I think they could have, I think the book would have benefited from an editor going through the whole thing before it got printed and be like, why don't you clear that up? Why don't we like have that panel do that panel? And but I didn't hate it, but I'm just a cranky bastard anyways on the best of days. So
the way that we normally do it on the show is we give it a rating out of 5. So I would like to hear, what is your rating going to be out of 5 for this book?
3.5.
I don't think that's pretty fair. I was thinking that mine was about a 3.74. I think this is really fun. I think that for people that don't read, like that just love superhero comic books, I think this would be a good, like, oh, you want to get into indies? You want to see what can happen when you just kind of like let a story take place? I think there's a lot of good stuff here, but I think, overall, this is fun. It's kind of silly. It's loosely, if Robin dies and Batman goes insane, what the hell is going to happen out of this? And I mean, it was fun. It was good. I'm not upset that I read this comic. I think that you can tell that, Patton Oswalt is not a super polished comic book writer, but I think this is still great. And I think if, reading something like that is what you want to do, I think this would be a good book. And I mean, there's a ton of other, superhero indie books where this is pretty quick, right? It's 4 issues. You can just literally pick it up and you can read it and you can be done with it. And maybe there will be more, maybe there will be not. They kind of allude to,
what is it? Never the end or whatever.
Never the end. Yeah. And then, Blake, I don't know if you want to go in and do a little bit of how you thought about it, but
yeah.
Blake's like, I'm giving it a 4.69.
No. I'm gonna go closer to where you go. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go 3.63 for me. You know, I liked it. I think it's better than fine. I do. So
Yeah.
you know, a 3.5 out of 5, I would say that's fine, right? I think
I would
it's
say
a little
3
bit.
out of 5 is fine.
Oh, well, fine. I'm sorry, you're a better reviewer.
I think y'all need a different fucking grading scale. But anyways,
I do too. I like doing it out of 10. Cole is like, our viewers can't count that high.
Well,
Blake. No,
So the funny, my original thought process on why we should do 5 is that if Blake and I both rated out of 5, we have a combined out of 10 score.
oh,
We're like an out of.
That's not how math works.
We never talked about that ever, but that was something that I thought about. And I thought about like, oh, if we did something else and we put it into writing, we could be like, the Blake and Cole combined 10 score is blank.
I'll
But
give you a
then
rating
we
scale
should probably
2
start
stars.
doing that. I kind of like that.
Yeah, because it's like weird because you could essentially give something a 2 and I could give it a 5 and now it's a 7 out of 10.
which really would, yeah, that doesn't mathematically check out at all.
But it's
we're not
funny because,
scientists.
well, but then again, people are just like, oh, well, then it's just a 7 is 3.5. So it probably is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but also if you're rating a book of 2 and I'm rating a book of 5, it's got to be good for somebody else besides me.
Yeah. There's a healthy median there. But yeah, I would say a 3.63. You know, I did, you know, points off for a slower, imperfect premiere issue, right? But like I said, the second issue makes up for that. The kind of who done it in the end, the invasion of the dream cave or the dream canal or whatever they call it. It's the Bat Cave. Yeah. That was cool. There's that kind of splash panel that Taylor and I alluded to, like that I almost screenshotted that and sent it to Cole while I was reading it. Cause I was just like, okay, like I love this. Like in,
I'm glad you didn't send it to me because there's a good chance that I didn't get to that before you would have sent it to me.
Oh, I probably would have because I read this like right before we went live.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, I read it at like 5:30 today. So
okay, yeah, I started. I finished it at like I think I finished it around 6:30 today.
I read it over the weekend because I'm a responsible guest.
Nice.
So usually the thing I try to do is I try and start reading it Sunday, and hopefully I can finish it by Monday night.
Yeah, I
just because I like doing it that way. But this was one of those where I think that first issue, as you kind of alluded to, just took me a little longer.
Well, and you're in fucking disc golf. So Cole's getting really into disc golf and getting sidetracked. I'm really into Diablo getting sidetracked on top of like, you know, trying to PR for like 3 or 4 different Kickstarters simultaneously and all this stuff going on right now. So yeah, it's lately Blake and Cole read a book is I get up early on Tuesday and start and like knock out like a chapter like every other hour, like read if it's like a 6-issue trade or whatever, like read maybe 2 in the morning and then do some work, read another issue, do some work, read, and then like kind of knock it out as the day goes by. So I'm ready.
Yeah, and I had to read these today because that's for my Cranky Comic Book Review show, which drops tomorrow at 8:30. There you go. I'm done with my plug. So.
Oh wait, you do? Oh yeah, watch that show. Also, what aren't you doing?
What's your channel?
It's just Taylor Winder. It's the
dude. I've sent it to you. You're subscribed to him.
Oh, that's right. I am subscribed to you. Because I thought I wasn't, and then I looked you up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm subscribed to."
What channel are you?
Clearly, I make riveting videos that everybody watches.
YouTube does not give me any notifications ever anymore. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, I swear, like it doesn't even tell me like when people follow my channel anymore. I just kind of like look at it and notice. Yeah, it's weird. Because I used to get people I follow. I used to get like pop-up notifications on my phone and my 12.4-inch tablet, you know, with the really nice size screen on it. But it used to be, you know, it'd be like Cole posted. Well, I'm getting tons of Cole Frisbee posts, oddly enough, right now. Like it's like it knows that I have to watch these because he's my co-host. No, I'm having fun with him. I'm having fun with him.
I just want to watch the YouTube short where he's lathering up with his poison ivy medication.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Well,
is that real?
No, it's not real. Also, it's like take by mouth medication. So.
Oh well, you could lather up with your mouth.
Yeah,
you limber bastard.
Going back to our previous talks about foreplay.
What channel are you going live on tonight, Taylor?
Oh, I'm going live on Eddie's, which is Old Man Collectibles. So I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah, you can drop the link there because you have access to do that. So,
well, I just did that. I did the ad. So people, you can copy and paste that shit. I'm too lazy. So but I'm going live in 6 minutes, so I'm gonna probably bounce off of here, guys.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much for
joining
having
us
me.
and
Yeah,
being
man. Thanks for
the
hanging out. It
second
was fun
guest.
chatting.
And yeah, it was fun. And thank you everyone for stopping by. I just dropped the actual link to that.
Oh, there you
We've
go.
only
Thank
got 11 people in this giveaway, and maybe the way that we talked about this book didn't sell
Yeah,
it.
I feel like
still
we were
think-
like, don't even enter this fucking
No, like anything
giveaway.
else, I hurt the metrics. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave, and other people can come and watch this shit now. So I'll see you guys later.
You
Well,
didn't
thank you.
hurt
Take it
shit,
easy.
man. It was good
Yeah,
chatting.
you're
bud.
great. And
Likewise.
yeah, thank you for
See you
coming on.
guys.
And yeah, I think as we said, I think this book is like, I think it's fun. It is a good book that I think is worth reading. So I think that you should still get this in if you haven't. Once again, for the most part, we try and ship these out to mostly in the U.S., but we can either price tag or maybe work something out depending on it is.
Or
I
just give
usually,
you $11.
yeah, I usually just do this. What am I trying to say here? I usually send these out from Amazon because that's the easiest way for me to do it. That makes it easy for everyone. And that way I don't really have to deal with shipping. If it gets destroyed in transit, I can just tell you to print a label and send it back to Amazon.
Yeah. You don't even have to print a label anymore. You just initiate the return, take it to UPS or Whole Foods or whatever the other one is, and they just scan the deal. You don't have to put it in a box or anything. You just bring it back, they scan it, and you walk out of there.
I've bought way too many things on Prime Day today and really nothing of like benefit. I got like some stuff for my kids. I got a new pair of track pants for myself.
Ooh, are they the ones with the snaps? Like, can you rip them off like a basketball?
No, they're just so I because of disc
Lame.
golf getting poison ivy, I wanted to have pants.
Oh,
I
yeah?
bought some new running socks. I bought a rain jacket that's light. I got some liquid IV. Got a new pair of shorts.
I've been looking at
By
gaming
shorts, I mean
headsets.
sheets.
I really
Yeah.
want to get a headset for my laptop for Diablo so that my sister and about to be brother-in-law are playing it. And I'm really hoping we can start playing it together, even though they're just like couch co-oping, taking their sweet ass fucking time. And I'm like, I'm getting ready for the new, I'm like trying to hustle through some shit I should have done already to like finish the renown for the new season that starts on the 20th. And but anyways, like I'm getting to that point where it would be helpful to join with other people to tackle some of these bigger, harder elements of the game. And so like I want a headset to, because I can't right now with my setup. I tried to see if I could stream, right, and it's not, I can't stream, and my room is hot, so I don't want to sit out here and game with my nice mic. And even though like I have like that setup where I could use all this to do game chats, but basically like I take my laptop inside to the air, with the air conditioning, like sit on the couch and play on my laptop, and just need to get like a headset with a mic. And basically like Cole sent me a link for one that I was looking at and I almost bought it, and then in the reviews it was like, this thing has a good mic but everything else about it sucks and it's uncomfortable. And like every review I read now, it's just like, this one's okay but I'm not super happy with it. And then finally I found one that was like, everybody loves this one, and it's like $300, and I'm like, I'm not buying a $300 my studio Sony headphones that I use for real shit or were 80, right? Like I'm not spending anyway.
And that's the thing, you got it. Like the one thing I would recommend is, it kind of depends on what you want. The one that I got, that one was just newer and it has this weird new Dolby sound thing.
The Dolby Atmos,
yeah. Like the one thing that I have, I had gotten a 7.1 set. And those are pretty good for hearing stuff, but it's also like Diablo doesn't matter what direction people are coming at you. You're not playing first person shooters. And if the mic is the good thing, that's pretty much all that matters. But I
also plan to, eventually I will probably play another game. Maybe, I don't know. Diablo's pretty fucking awesome.
So, hey, congratulations.
Hey, Bronze Age Brian. What's up, buddy?
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah. We definitely talk. So make sure you hit me up and we will get that over to you at some point. I just want to also add the caveat that I'm pretty slow to like send these out sometimes. So sorry.
Cool. I still owe, I owe you comics. I owe you a Band of Bards bundle, and I owe Ignacio a Band of Bards trade. And sorry, I owe Ignacio a Band of Bards trade and Immortal Studios, a couple issues from Immortal Studios from like fucking a year ago, maybe. Oh my god, sorry, dude.
Proud of you still.
Yeah, only you are.
Yeah, and thank you for stopping by. And for those of you who aren't already here following Brian, make sure you do. He does a lot of really cool reviews of shops, and I know he said that he's kind of been taking a break. But the cool thing is, I know whenever people from like out of countries are like, what YouTube channel should I watch? I always recommend his because I was like, if you want to see what American comic book shops are, this is a guy that goes through and he does that. So
Nice.
this week we talked about Minor Threats. It's coming out from Dark Horse. It's from Patton Oswalt. It comes out tomorrow. So if you see it in the stores and you were interested in what we talked about today, maybe check that out.
I know there were some hit and miss opinions on from tonight's panel, but I do think it is worth a read.
Yeah.
I love Dark Horse. I really do. I love what they're putting out. I love Patton Oswalt. The art is really good. I guess this artist has a comic book
from Tom Morello.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Like Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello wrote a comic book. How did I not know that? I kind of want to check that out now too. But yeah, art is really solid. Flashback coloring, yeah, it gets a little bit confusing, but like for real, the second issue better, third and fourth get a lot better. It ends well. It says a lot of cool things about the modern and historical state of superheroes. It's got a nice little commentary. What is good about this comic is that you know, it's really cool when people like Patton Oswalt, who are a champion of comic books, like he got a shot to write it. He did a good, him and his co-writer did a great job. They did MODOK together as well. But you know, it's not like everything else out there. Is it perfect? No. Is it different? Yes, it's very different. And you know, even
fun.
with the nods to like, you know, historical DC, mainly DC, but like, you know, yeah, it's fun and it's different and it's not like a lot of what else is out there. So like, I really do encourage people to give it a shot.
And yeah, I didn't put anyone's links in the thing this week because I'm bad, but make sure you go check out Blake. Make sure you check out Taylor too. Both of them are putting out awesome shows. Taylor does a weekly thing every Wednesday. Make sure you figure out what he's into. He reads so many books and talks about all of them.
I know that's
looking for other
that's
books.
Jackie had to read for reviews. Like,
yeah,
man, that's impressive. Yeah,
also,
I'm almost at 400 followers. So like, if anybody wants to help me get there, I'm inchworming my way to 400 and relevancy.
And when he gets to 400, he'll think about giving away that omnibus that he talked about.
Probably won't. It's an Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1. I have the omnibus, but I also have all the deluxe oversized hardcovers of Bendis's run. So like, I don't really need the omnibus. And I tried to sell it and trade it on the Facebook channels a while back, and no, people wanted it. They just offered me shit that, like, you know what sucks when you have a lot of books? When you try and trade stuff, people are like, do you want this, or this? And I'm like, I have that, and that. Do you have anything else? And they're like, no. And so it's just like a lot of things people offered me, like I already had. And so, and I tried to sell it. No one picked it up. I tried to sell it at the wrong time too. Cause like I tried to sell it for like $60 shipped. And like, it was when they announced the reprint, right? So the omnibus was out of print. They announced the reprint. So like, I didn't, you know, I thought it was a fair price. But yeah, I always try and do that, man. Like I've been buying the Marvel canon Star Wars hardcover stuff. And I've tried to sell my soft covers and trades that I have of all that. And like, I can't get rid of them. So maybe I need to do like a big Star Wars trade giveaway that I never ship out, but someone can win.
Just do one every week.
Yeah, just like a random like. And tomorrow Annie Nocenti is going to be on in the afternoon. Iconic Daredevil scribe, also writing a new Captain Marvel mini and a Storm mini at Marvel right now, and that's going to be at 4 Eastern. So we're going live. I know last night we went live later. Tomorrow we're going live earlier. I know it's been weird this week, but if you can't watch it live, it'll be there for you later, at least.
Well, hey, Blake, thanks again for joining me. And thank you, everyone in the audience, for showing up today and listening to us talk about a book. We'll be back next Tuesday. We'll be talking about some other book that comes out. And who knows? Maybe it'll be better than fine. This book also was better than fine. But that was just Taylor's catchphrase, so I figured that I would use it. So,
is that okay?
Yeah. His thing is like, this is fine. Nice. All right, but yeah, hey. So thank you again, everyone, for stopping by. Once again, I've been Cole. He's been Blake, and peace.
Peace.